We get this question all the time. Do you have to have a negative COVID test to travel inter-island in Hawaii? And the answer is...
most likely. So it's not super cut and dry. There are some nuances to this. So first, let's talk about when a COVID test is required for inter-island travel. So a negative COVID test is required if you are traveling from Oahu to any of the neighbor islands. So that would be Maui, Kauai, the Big Island, Molokai, or Lanai. So you will need to have a negative COVID test submitted, just like you have to do for trans-Pacific travel before you head to those islands. Also, if you are traveling inter-island between those neighbor islands, you will need to submit a negative COVID test before you travel.
So if we did Maui to the Big Island, we'd have to do the test. Maui to Kauai, we'd have to do the test.
There are some nuances though. So when is a COVID test not required?
Hi, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Erica.
And this is the Hawaii Vacation Guide. So when is a COVID test not required? So the first one is if you are flying from a neighbor island to Oahu. So Maui to Oahu, like we do frequently, doesn't require a test. You just get on the plane, no paperwork, nothing. That's how you do it. Same thing, Big Island to Oahu, no test is required.
Another instance where a test is not required is if you just have a layover on Oahu before heading to a neighbor island. So say when we flew from California, we stopped on Oahu for 3 hours and then went to Maui. We did not have to have a separate test done on Oahu before going to Maui. So those are the two instances where a COVID test is not required before traveling to another island. But there are some nuances for each of the different islands. So let's jump into those.
So once again, for Oahu, if you're traveling to Oahu from a neighbor island, no COVID test is required.
But for Maui, you will need to have a negative COVID test taken and submitted within 72 hours before your departure, just like you would have to do for trans-Pacific travel.
And it is the same procedure as trans-Pacific travel.
You will also need to download the Aloha Safe app. Kauai, the same. So 72 hours before departure to Kauai, you will need to have a negative COVID test taken, uploaded, and submitted, and it's just like trans-Pacific travel. But here's where things get a little bit different. Is the Big Island. The Big Island of Hawaii gives you options. Yeah, so you have two options. So you can do the same as just like every other island. Within 72 hours before your departure, take and upload your negative COVID test results. Or you can arrive without them, go into quarantine. You can leave quarantine to take a test, but you must quarantine until your results are received. What if you're vaccinated? So we are filming this right now at the end of April. So as of right now, not a whole lot is changing if you are vaccinated and you are a visitor. So starting May 11th, Hawaii is starting a kind of a pilot program. So if you have been vaccinated within the state of Hawaii and you are fully vaccinated, you've waited 15 days after your second vaccination, you can travel inter-island without needing to take another COVID test. So this really doesn't apply to many visitors. However, I will say it sounds like they are launching this as kind of a test to see how the program would work in the future. They did this last summer, right before they opened up islands to trans-Pacific travel. They launched a pilot program doing inter-island travel with the COVID test required beforehand, just to get all the kinks worked out and see how it would work. So there will probably be some updates on that later this summer, so stay tuned.
Where do you get tested once you're on the Hawaiian Islands? Great question. We have a link below to all the trusted travel partners. They're at hawaiicovid19.com. You still have to use a trusted travel partner. They're located here on the islands, and that's like its own category in the box. But what are some popular ones?
Oh, all right. So on Oahu, the National Kidney Foundation has a testing location at the airport that gives same-day results.
And in Waikiki also, so very convenient.
Very convenient. On Maui, there's Minute Medical, which is also a very convenient location for people.
They got 3 locations around the island, one right by the airport. Minute Medical is $170 a test. For the example again, Oahu, the Kidney Foundation is $140 a test.
If you are a Kaiser member, there are Kaiser locations all across the islands, and they perform the testing as well.
Free for members.
And then there are also Walgreens testing locations here as well.
A couple big tips. First off is book one of these tests early, identify your test center, and book it well before your trip so you know when it is, because you have to interrupt your vacation to go get this test done when you're going to go inter-island. Number 2 is Vault Health. We recommend Vault Health because we've used it like 4 times now, and it's great for East Coast travelers because it's a take-at-home test. They'll mail you the kit, and it even works here in Hawaii. We've had friends do it here, and they just overnight it through UPS. so they get the results back in time. Go check out our itineraries at thehawaiivacationguide.com/Maui, and we have a bunch of itineraries there for Oahu and Maui, and we do step-by-step about how to do the COVID testing and all these other details that help for inter-island and for trans-Pacific travel. And we use Vault Health as an example for that.
And if you are in the midst of planning, you should also just check out our website, thehawaiivacationguide.com, because we have a lot of helpful resources that can help you make fun decisions.
Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.